Welcome to the Electoral Commission of Queensland's webinar about election signage in state elections. This webinar provides information for candidates, registered political parties, third parties and associated entities participating in state elections in Queensland. The size, quantity and placement of election signage at polling places for state election and by-elections is regulated. All election participants must ensure they are familiar with signage regulations before displaying any signs at a polling place. They also must make sure that all signage is compliant with political advertising regulations and carries an appropriate authorisation. The ecq is responsible for ensuring election participants, including candidates, registered political parties and third parties, comply with state law about signs. What is an election sign? It is important to know what is and is not considered an election sign because there are restrictions on the number and placement of election signs outside polling booths. Election signs seek to influence a person's vote or otherwise affect the result of an election. Examples include signs displaying the colours originally associated with a registered political party, signs with a message to vote or not for a political party or candidate, bunting, streamers and continuous flexible signs. What is not an election sign? Examples of non-election signs include an official sign placed by an authorised ecq staff, an item of clothing being worn by a person, an umbrella or portable shade structure, small items such as a label pen, badge, hat, pen, pencil or sticker. These items would not count towards a participant's quota of election signs. Why do you need to know the difference? There are differences in the regulations for early voting locations and election day polling places. The size, quantity and placement of election signs near polling places is regulated by the Electoral Act 1992. The ecq is responsible for enforcing these regulations and will request that any non-compliant signage be removed. Authorisation of election material. All election material, including signs, must be authorised during the election period. An authorisation must show the name and physical address of the person authorising the material. The address cannot be a post office box. Any person can authorise election material. Authorisation must be visible when viewed as intended. Designated signage area. An election signage must be at least 6 metres away from the entrance to a building used for voting. The designated area for signage extends 100 metres from the building where people are voting. Election signs within the designated area do not need to be accompanied by campaign representatives. Only signage relating to primary election at a polling place may be displayed. Permitted sizes of election signs. In the next couple of slides, we'll be talking about the number of signs permitted at polling booths and whether the signs can be large or small. So the size of a large sign can be no larger than 1,830 millimetres by 1,220 millimetres. Small signs are to be no larger than 900 millimetres by 600 millimetres. Note that signs can be in portrait or landscape orientation. Please note that an A frame is considered to be one sign, even though it may display 2 different corflutes. Signages at early voting locations allows a maximum of 2 small signs per election participant to be displayed at an early voting location. Signs can only be up during voting hours, and small signs again can be up to 900 millimetres by 600 millimetres. Election day signage rules. Signs must not be displayed before 5 a.m. on election day. For candidates and registered political parties, up to 6 signs per candidates or political parties are allowed at each polling place. Registered political parties and their endorsed candidates share their quota. A maximum of 4 of the signs can be large. As an example, candidates and registered political parties may have 4 large signs plus 2 small signs, or they can have 2 large signs plus 4 small signs, or 4 large signs plus 2 small signs, but 5 large signs plus 1 small sign would be over the quota. Note that if a candidate is endorsed by a political party, then the party's signs are included in the candidate's quota. All signs must be authorised. On election day, signs must not be displayed before 5 a.m. Both registered and unregistered third parties may display up to 4 signs, with a maximum of 2 being large at each polling place. Signs placed by an associated entities at a polling place count towards the quota for the registered political party or candidates they are associated with. Remember, all signs must be authorised. Signages at shared guest locations. As occurred in the 2020 state general election, particular polling booths are shared by electorates, for example, Alchester and Woodridge. Where this occurs, candidates and parties from both electorates may have signs at those polling booths which are shared. Normal signage rules apply to shared guest booths. A notice detailing which polling booths are shared booths will be published closer to the election. The ecq will advise when this occurs. Where can you find more information? ecq's website at www.ecq.qld.gov.au or the Electoral Act 1992, www.legislation.qld.gov.au, or you can contact ECQ via email fad@ecq.qld.gov.au or phone 1300 881 665. Please note the ECQ provides general advice only. Should you be in any doubt regarding your obligations, please seek independent legal advice. Thank you for listening. And thank you for watching this webinar. We appreciate your time and hope that the information provided has been useful to you.